can never be the same again.
I did not intend to remain at Blackfen Hall. That morning, after examining Eleanor's wounds more closely and confirming what I already feared, I resolved to leave before nightfall. Whatever stalked the marsh was not a matter for medicine, and I was unashamed to admit that my courage extended only so far as reason allowed. Yet by noon, the fog had thickened to a suffocating wall, and the marsh road had vanished entirely beneath standing water. The carriage driver who had brought me the previous day was nowhere to be found. Mrs. Calder informed me, without surprise, that he would not return until the land permitted it. "The marsh decides," she said simply. Eleanor worsened as the day wore on. Though she had slept for no more than a handful of minutes, her dreams, if they could be called such, left her shaking and mute, her lips forming words she would not speak aloud. By late afternoon, she took my hand. "He wants me below," she whispered. "Below where?" I asked. She closed her eyes. "Where the brides wait." Mrs. Calder would not meet my gaze. It was then I demanded the truth. We sat in the cold dining room, the long table set with candles, though no meal was prepared. The shadows clung to the walls like listening things. "You owe me honesty," I said. "If I am to remain here, I must know what I face." Mrs. Calder folded her hands, knuckles pale. "Then you must hear a story older than this house, older than the marsh itself." She spoke of Blackfen as it had once been, dry land, fertile and feared. Of a noble family whose name had been erased from parish records, but not from memory. Of a man who returned from the wars unchanged in face, yet wrong in every other way. He did not age, he said. His wives did, the villagers noticed first. Animals found drained and arranged with care. Women falling ill shortly after marriage. Children born pale and restless, who did not live to see adulthood. When the land finally swallowed the old manor, drawing it down into the marsh like a body into a grave, the people believed themselves free. They were mistaken. "He cannot cross running water," Mrs. Calder said. "But the marsh does not run. It waits." "And the brides?" I asked. Mrs. Calder's voice dropped. "Those he claims do not leave him. They are buried nearby, close enough for him to call them." A sound came from above us, a low, rhythmic thudding, like earth striking wood. Mrs. Calder rose at once. "She is calling." We found Eleanor at her window, her fingers pressed against the glass. Outside, the fog had thinned just enough to reveal a small rise in the marsh, a hummock of earth no one had mentioned before. A lantern burned there. "I must go," Eleanor said calmly. Too calmly. "No," Mrs. Calder said. "You must stay awake." Eleanor smiled, a faint, sorrowful curve of the lips. "He will come if I do not." Night fell early. At the first toll of the distant church bell, the knocking began. Not at the door, from beneath the house. The floorboards shuddered, once, twice, as though something below were testing their strength. I stood frozen as understanding settled like a weight in my chest. The old house beneath the water. It was not as submerged as we had been led to believe. "He is below us," I said. Mrs. Calder nodded. "He always is." The knocking stopped. Then Eleanor screamed. We reached her chamber just in time to see the curtains drawn back by an unseen hand. The window flew open, letting in the stench of wet soil and rot. He rose from the fog like a figure recalled rather than arrived, his feet never quite touching the ground. "You have delayed long enough," he said gently. Eleanor stood and walked toward him without resistance. I barred her path. "You cannot take her," I said, my voice breaking. "She has not consented." He regarded me with something like pity. "They all consent," he said. Eventually, Mrs. Calder fell to her knees. "Please," she whispered. "Not my daughter." His gaze sharpened. "Your husband knew the terms." I felt a pressure then, not upon my body, but upon my thoughts. Memories not my own pressed inward, cold soil against skin, the ache of hunger sharpened to devotion, the comfort of belonging beneath the earth. The brides. I saw them, women arranged in shallow graves, their faces serene, their mouths stained dark, their eyes opened when he passed, watching, waiting. I shouted a prayer I barely believed in. The crucifix burned in my hand. He recoiled, not in pain, but in irritation, like a man interrupted mid-sentence. She is promised, he said. Blood answers blood. Mrs. Calder screamed then, a sound so raw it cut through the fog. She will not go alone, she cried. Take me instead. The silence that followed was absolute. The vampire smiled. A mother, he said. Always acceptable. Before I could stop her, Mrs. Calder stepped forward. He took her hand with reverence. Eleanor collapsed, sobbing. The lantern in the marsh flared bright, then vanished. By morning, Mrs. Calder was gone. In her place, a mound of freshly turned earth lay beside the house. Eleanor lived. For now. But as I write this, I hear footsteps beneath the floor once more. And I know he is never without his brides for long.
If you enjoyed tonight's tale, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves a good scare.